Volcanic islands in the Pacific, a barren, hostile place with scarce food. To survive, today's land hero chose to dive into the sea, and today we review the true Godzilla, a marine iguana. Remember to rate this drag her weights or drive underwater plantation. Let's begin. Over time, its long tail has become flattened along the sides, aiding it in navigating the powerful currents. And the reptile can hold its breath for a duration of up to 30 minutes, while diving to depths reaching up. These are known as the Galápagos Islands. They consist of 12 large islands and hundreds of smaller ones, all of volcanic origin, situated precisely on the equator in the vast Pacific Ocean. They lie more than 1,000 kilometers away from the nearest mainland, serving as a living laboratory for the study of evolution. For instance, it is only here that you can encounter the enormous land tortoises, which are distinguished by their long, snake-like necks. The marine iguana's ancestors arrived here many years ago, transported on rafts made of plants. Due to the hot climate and significant volcanic activity, there are considerable issues with food, particularly for herbivorous animals. Consequently, the marine iguanas have begun seeking food in other places, underwater. They are unique as the only lizards capable of feeding on the seafloor, and over time, their bodies have evolved to suit this lifestyle. Most importantly, they are cold-blooded creatures, and to dive into the sea, they must warm up thoroughly. This is why you will often observe iguanas perched on rocks, recharging before diving. They attempt to turn their bodies sideways to the sun to absorb warmth more efficiently. Occasionally, there isn't enough space for all of them, causing some to climb on top of one another. Throughout the years, their skin has transformed into a dark, nearly black hue, allowing it to absorb the sun's rays even more efficiently. The skin is also extremely rough, serving to shield the reptile from the relentless waves. At this point, we can proceed into the water. The enormous waves crash against the rocks with tremendous force, yet the jaguana finds itself with no alternative. She leaps into the water and makes her way towards the underwater plantations. Over time, its long tail has become flattened along the sides, aiding it in navigating the powerful currents, and the reptile can hold its breath for a duration of up to 30 minutes, while diving to depths reaching up to 10 meters. Now it can finally eat in peace. With its flat face and sharp teeth, it becomes an exceptional collector of algae. And with sharp chains and claws, the animal can grip onto rocks even amidst strong underwater currents. Occasionally, she surfaces to take a breath before sinking to the bottom once more. However, the cold water rapidly stiffens her muscles, necessitating departure. Otherwise, they'll spasm, risking the reptile's drowning. By the way, the return journey isn't any easier. Exiting the water on such steep cliffs is quite challenging. Lizards frequently fall back into the water, but the iguana grips and climbs slowly. Today, she found food. The claws of marine iguanas are incredibly strong, allowing them to slide headlong down steep rocks with ease. However, the waves pose a significant danger, and many of these reptiles bear wounds on their bodies from colliding with the rocks. Furthermore, only adult and large males are capable of undertaking such a swim, with their bodies reaching up to 130 centimeters in length and weighing as much as 5 kilograms. Females and juveniles face the risk of hypothermia too rapidly, so they employ a different tactic altogether. Twice daily when the tide is low, the rocks are revealed, allowing the reptiles access to their food. Indeed, there's limited algae here and not much variety. However, an iguana requires merely 100 grams of algae each day, which suffices. One reason reptiles have endured on these volcanic islands is due to their minimal food consumption. Yet locating food can be challenging at times. Consequently, the iguanas attempt to take algae from the holopogod cormorants. It's yet another incredible island bird that adapted to fly in order to improve its swimming abilities. However, that's a different tale altogether. This particular eating habit results in an excessive amount of salt building up within the body. Consequently, the iguana just sneezes out the surplus salt. There are specialized glands that help to extract the excess salt from the bloodstream, concentrating it into a salty solution, which is then expelled in such a remarkable manner. Moreover, they have assistants. These are nimble crabs that willingly climb onto the iguana, cleaning its body of parasites and dead skin. Additionally, the lava lizard acts as another assistant. It moves over the iguanas, catching bothersome flies that cling to the wounds on their bodies. However, this kind of hardy life doesn't endure for long. In the month of December, the cold, nutrient-rich Antarctic Humboldt Current begins to weaken and is gradually replaced by the warmer Panama Current. As a result, food in the sea becomes extremely scarce. Fish, as well as birds, tend to move away from these islands, yet the iguanas have no place to escape to, and they must endure starvation. Many of them do not survive this challenging period and sadly perish. Some even venture into the interior of the islands, where, much like the land iguanas, they attempt to consume cacti. The two species are incredibly close and may encounter each other. Hybrids of these iguanas have been discovered, displaying a head and sharp claws similar to marine iguanas, yet exhibiting behavior akin to land reptiles. Remarkably, in the year 2009, there was even a pink iguana discovered. During this time, even those that have never been seen before make their way to the vacant fish markets. Iguanas are herbivorous reptiles, but when food is scarce, they eat fish remains. Regarding other predators, there are hardly any on these islands. The holopagod hawk is the only one that might target females or young reptiles. It particularly attacks frequently when lizards stray too far from the safety of the rocks. The hawk does this primarily to lay its eggs. While marine iguanas can accelerate swiftly enough for a reptile, they stand little chance against such a skilled hunter. The hawk skillfully seizes the prey using its sharp claws and then carries it back to its nest. Meanwhile, the second parent takes flight to search for more food, as the growing chick is capable of consuming up to half an iguana each day. Newborn iguanas are abandoned to survive on their own, and for the first time, they search for seaweed on the rocks as they are unable to swim. Beaches without waves are crucial for these reptiles, as they offer a chance for the young to survive. Nonetheless, it is common for there to be a mortality rate of 80% among the cubs. However, at times, iguanas face even greater challenges. Every few years, the El Niño phenomenon takes place. During this event, the landings that direct the current become weaker, and warm water from the equator flows over the islands. Sea temperatures rise by 4 more degrees, meaning no food will remain. The algae carpet turns into a barren desert, spelling doom for the iguanas. El Niño has wiped out around 90% of iguanas recently, and their numbers aren't bouncing back. In order to protect themselves, the reptiles have even shrunk in size by 20% to survive such seasons, but there are still a lot of them dying. What is particularly dangerous is that the frequency of such events is increasing at an alarming rate, and marine iguanas may soon disappear from the islands. That's how adaptable, yet powerless against nature, these little Godzillas turned out to be. I hope you found it interesting and enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't hesitate to rate it. Also, write in the comments about whom you'd like to hear about next time. Remember to subscribe to the channel and make sure to switch on notifications. I'll see you in a week. Goodbye.